Hey, welcome. This is Here's to Your Good Health. My name is Linda Prezioso. I'm a nurse practitioner at Family Medical Center, and tonight I'm so excited. I have an old friend. Dr. Browder and I have known each other for a long time. I worked in the emergency room when they moved to town, and his wife was an emergency room physician, so I can remember vividly her coming her first day. I don't even know if she was still interviewing, but she had a baby on a hip and a baby in the belly, so that's how long, and they're probably out of college. We'll find all that in a minute. But anyway, this is Dr. David Browder. He works at Boyce Willis Clinic and has a practice there, and he also does clinical research, and so that's what we're really going to focus on tonight. So I'm interested. You know, I've read a lot of clinical research. I know a lot about clinical research, but it's kind of fun to have it right here in our own hometown. So welcome, Dr. Browder.
Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I remember that first day for Leslie that she was back. It was the day after Hurricane Fran.
Was it?
So they were in the ER.
Oh, wow. And,
like you said, pregnant.
Yes, yes.
And, so that was quite a day to start out with 26 years ago. So
was it?
Yeah.
And you guys lost a house too, didn't you?
Well, yeah, and then Hurricane Floyd was a few years later.
Right. And you lost
she was
your
working
house.
that night too, fortunately, because we all stayed up at the hospital with her. And
yeah, all of you,
all
the kids too.
Yeah, and
that was a good thing
yeah.
because once you got in that hospital, you didn't get out.
No, that's right.
From a nursing perspective, I was there for several days. Because you couldn't get in, you couldn't get out. It was a helicopter. It was a interesting time, that's for sure. So you guys have been here 26 years?
26 years as of this summer.
Got a bug here.
That's why in here. It's been great. We've loved Rocky Mount, and I grew up just north of here in Weldon, and so had family there. And then Leslie was from Raleigh, and so we were close to family. And it's been a great place to settle in.
You were a local boy. You know, Dr. Ashley Parker is from Halifax.
Oh, that's right.
From Roanoke Rapids.
Yeah, that's right.
So they drove some smart
Dr.
guys
Hasty
up
is
there.
from
is he?
up that way too, and Gaston in that area. So
wow, Halifax County is pumping them out. That's a good thing. Smart boys up there.
Keeping them close to home.
There you go. Well, that's a good thing too. Yeah, that's good. So you've been married, and how many children do you have?
So 5 children. So ages from 27 to 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many do you have left at home?
So we have one that's still in high school. Everybody else is.
They're all rest of them.
3 of them are out of college. One's in college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember a few years ago when Dr. Abel's 4th child graduated from Carolina. He said, "I've gotten a raise after 16 years," because he didn't have to write that check every month. You know.
Well, that's what I tell everybody. I'm not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah. No, you got one left in college.
Lots of responsibilities.
And one more to go. Yeah. So nobody's married. Your older ones.
No one's married yet. So oldest is still finishing a degree, actually getting talking about research, getting a PhD in epidemiology.
Oh, really?
At Carolina. So she's starting her 3rd year with that, and has done a research there also in the vascular surgery department.
That's awesome.
So she's down this track.
Awesome. And then what about, I know you got a Jackson. I can't remember.
Yeah, Jackson is next. He's 26 and works for Kraft Foods. He's in Charlotte now.
Okay.
And then the next daughter is Barkley, and she has recently worked as an EMT in Ashe County. So she's done that for a little over a year, and will be going back to get a degree in physiology coming up. So she's still thinking medicine, so she's kind of working her way through that. And Carson's a junior at Carolina, and then our youngest son, Bo, is a sophomore, and he goes to school in Lynchburg, Virginia, at Virginia Episcopal School.
Oh, okay. Well, you guys, you got something going all the time, don't you, with 5 kids, that's for sure, and a busy practice. So how did you get into doing clinical research?
So I guess I got started with it. Dr. Varma, the cardiologist, we're doing a lot of research in the practice, and he had a study that was involved a weight loss agent. They're also looking at it for any potential cardiovascular effects with the drug, and so he came out and recruited some primary care people to get involved with that. So that's how it started out.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then the next study after that was a Pfizer trial, and it was for a C. difficile vaccine
Did
study.
they ever
that-
find one?
I think things looked somewhat promising. They didn't get enough events to really determine, so I think they're going to continue looking
Oh,
at
okay.
that.
Well, that would be great, because that's a devastating problem.
Yeah. I mean, so but there've been a series of things. So this
Sure.
was 6-7 years ago, and it's just kind of
Gone
expanded
on
from there. That's
yeah.
right.
I know I had Dr. Manikin from hematology, and I think he's gone now, but they're doing clinical research over there too for cancer and stuff like that.
Yeah, part of some of the trials that maybe are going on at Chapel Hill and.
So I just think it's awesome that little old Rocky Mount can,
Yeah, there's
really
opportunities
absolutely, and
to be part of this.
Be a participant. So is there a difference between clinical research and a clinical trial, or are they the same, interchangeable?
They would be interchangeable.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we
No.
think of those
Okay.
interchangeably.
So what is clinical research?
There's a topic or a product that a company's developed that they want to, initially with some of the smaller trials, we really haven't done much of this, but they may be looking more at safety and what's the proper dose to get the response they're looking for. And if things look favorable with that, then they move on to phase 3 trials, which are more looking at how effective is the therapy. So it's gone through some of the initial safety evaluation. There'll be ongoing safety evaluation with what we do. A lot of data is collected along those lines. But then, you're assembling patients that are interested and collecting this data. And so the companies work with a sponsor for the research, and together they develop a protocol that then we follow. So we have to follow that to a T to recruit the appropriate patients.
That's where some of the safety stays.
And then you want the data to be accurate and meaningful, so you have to follow a very specific chain of events to get that data and make it replicable. So.
Absolutely. I think it's awesome. So let's see, what's in it for the patient?
So, I think a lot of, a variety of things. Some things I hear commonly from patients are that, they feel like they've had some benefit from medical research, either through medications or treatments, and they'd like to give back. So I think there's that sense of giving back to your fellow man. And some, like we're doing some RSV trials now, and you'll have grandparents coming in, and my grandchild just had RSV. I'd love to be able to do something to advance knowledge. There are no vaccines for RSV right now, so giving back in that way.
That's one of the ones you're looking at, aren't you?
Yeah, we're doing some RSV trials now and have in the past also. So, those sorts of things I hear most commonly. There is typically some reimbursement for your time, and I think, some people, like we're doing a flu shot study, they're like, I'm going to get a flu shot anyway if I can be reimbursed.
Yeah.
To get my flu shot, I would like to be part of this.
Well, I think that's great,
Yeah, different motivations.
Sure. I'm sure that there's a lot of satisfaction, like you said, helping your fellow man, and that's why I'm in medicine, to help my fellow man. I guess that's why you're in it too. So so this RSV, that is a virus, for those of you who don't know, and it's starting to affect adults, but it's really tough on kids.
Yeah, I think people hear about it mainly as croup in kids. Small children, particularly under 1, can have narrow airways and can have a lot of breathing difficulty from it. A major cause of hospitalization for children, and all the news lately about hospitals being full with pediatric beds, but it also can cause a flu-like illness in adults. So it's now that everybody's testing everything since COVID. It used to be you'd hate to think about doing a flu swab on somebody or going through all that. Now it's second nature to do that. So
it's like taking a blood pressure.
We're seeing a lot of RSV in adults, and so now that we're doing some of these tests that cover COVID, flu, and RSV, you're realizing how much of it's out there. And it's definitely been a big surge. Last summer, or summer before last, really, right when some of the restrictions were relaxed We saw a lot of people with RSV in the summer, and again this fall we've seen a lot of people with RSV, and I've had some patients admitted to the hospital because of RSV.
Do the adults get as sick as the kids? Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean it is a source of admission for respiratory disease in adults, particularly over age 65.
Yeah, and I suppose if you already are compromised with COPD or bronchitis, chronic bronchitis,
heart
or
disease,
asthma,
things like that. So that's exactly right. Those are the patients that may be most at risk.
Right.
But it's like anything else. If we all can be protected, we're going to lessen the burden on those that may be most vulnerable.
That's right. And I hope if we didn't learn anything else during COVID, we learned to wash our hands, stay a little ways away. If you don't feel well, put that mask on. I hope that people have gotten a little bit wiser.
I think we all realize we're all in this together too. And,
yeah, that's right.
What I do may not greatly impact me, but it might help somebody else.
Right, that's right.
And we're all in it together.
That's right, that's exactly right. So, you've got 2 RSVs. You've got a Bavarian Nordic RSV. Are those different viruses?
Different companies. So some of the basic platform of the vaccine may be a little bit different, but so they have an RSV vaccine candidate that they're looking at, and so we're in one of their large phase 3 trials with that study. And then last year we were in a similar type of study with Glaxo vaccine. So that's had very good data after the 1-year analysis. Now they're looking at that in combination with the flu shot. So they're either you're getting their RSV vaccine plus a flu shot at the same time, or you're getting those separated by month. And basically they want to see if the immune response is similar, getting both together, or if there's any diminishing immune response.
Right.
So hopefully they might be able to do both together
that'd be great,
in the future.
Wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be great. Speaking of which, I haven't gotten my flu shot yet. I better get going. It's out there.
We're seeing it,
yeah. Oh, yeah. I saw 2 today.
Yeah, got my COVID booster yesterday.
Did you? Okay. So,
my arm's a little sore today.
Yeah. So, and then Pfizer is doing a flu as well?
Yeah, so Pfizer, they have a flu shot vaccine trial, and this platform is similar to what they've done with their COVID vaccine. So it is a mRNA platform, and the benefit to that would be the shorter duration to develop a vaccine. So with flu shots, we look first to see what's happening in the southern hemisphere, what strains they're seeing.
Right.
It typically takes us at least 6 months to get a vaccine together. So we're basing it off of what we're seeing then, but flu mutates so readily. You may have a different strain, so some years the flu shot works great, and other years it's only 20% effective. So if they can shorten that timeline some, you may get a
more
better, a better matched vaccine.
Oh, that would be great.
Candidate for what's actually out there.
Yeah.
And also, there's no egg. In the development of this, so enough people with egg allergies that just can't get a flu shot nowadays.
Right. I didn't even think about that. And latex. Why is latex a problem? Because that's always a question.
It's always a question, but I'm, a lot of these things that come up when we're doing these things that they don't allow anyone with a latex allergy, but there's really no obvious latex in the vaccine. I don't know if there's some step in the development process that they're questioning.
I didn't know if somebody got allergic reaction to the gloves. I didn't know what.
Yeah, but who uses latex gloves anymore? I mean, nobody. I mean, they've pretty much gotten latex out of all those. Products and equipment.
Back in the day, you had to have 2 sets of gloves, but not anymore. We've really come a long way, haven't we?
Yep.
That's awesome. So, how many patients are in the GSK trial?
So, and I don't recall all the specifics on how many they're wanting to recruit, but they're thousands. So
really,
in the realm of 8,000 to 10,000 patients, maybe. For that,
so you are
study.
Just a small portion of a bigger one.
Exactly. Most of these trials are actually multinational, so there may be 20 or 30 sites in the U.S. and then, like with the Bavarian study, it's a German company. There's some sites in Germany.
Sure.
So they're often multinational, but certainly multi-center sites.
Okay.
And so
Yeah.
at Rocky Mount, we may be looking to, or hoping to enroll, 50 patients or 150 patients or something like that.
So do you recruit them from from the clinic over there, or does this Alacare,
Accelicare?
excuse me, do they do the recruiting?
So
or-
there's some of both. So I certainly talk to patients about
Sure.
it. Some of the other providers that work with research, like Dr. Bondi, they'll talk to their patients that seem appropriate that are coming in. We do, look at our patient population to see who might be a fit and may send some information out. We've done some Facebook advertising.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know it. I think I
And-
saw that actually.
Yeah, so there's some different avenues we'll use.
Okay, yeah. And do the specialists too, like, I'm thinking endocrinology, and they've got some pretty sick folks.
Yeah, so they have not directly been involved in any research. We have done diabetic studies, though, and those are always interesting, and some of those therapies
Sure.
are quite expensive. So if someone can have access to one of those therapies at no
Right.
cost,
Yeah.
is often a
I'd
benefit.
send my husband in a heartbeat.
And we're doing a thyroid
Oh, are
trial
you?
now that's
Okay.
a candidate that would be similar to Armour Thyroid,
Okay.
which was so old it didn't actually have to go through this process. and so hopefully getting a better standardized
Yeah.
dosing interval
Yeah. Okay.
with this. So there
Yeah.
are some endocrinology studies we do. Dr. Priyank Desai is going to have a COPD study.
Oh, that'll be
starting.
great. Yes,
So
and this tobacco
Dr.
lady.
Sushnik will have some
Yes.
psoriasis studies starting. So there are
Okay.
some specialty studies
Oh, wow,
that
that's-
are going on through Accelicare too, or coming up.
Well, you're just busy little bees over there, aren't you? That's great.
Yeah, they
though.
always want us to be busier. So
I know.
They
I know.
say we could do more.
You've sat for 5 minutes? Oh, wait, let me find something for you to do. All right, well, it's near time for our first break, so we'll go ahead and break just a little bit early, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Dr. Browder some more about clinical trials and learn more about it and why we might want to consider being part of it. We are live tonight. This is the 16th of November, and so if you've got a question for Dr. Browder, or if you're in a study over there, we would love to hear from you, and that number is 252-407-1111. So we'll be back in just a minute. Don't go away.
Elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Come celebrate our 20th anniversary with us and see how we can help with your hearing challenges and hearing care. To celebrate this monumental occasion, when you buy a pair of Livio 1600 series hearing aids or higher, you get one hearing aid for free because it helps to have a spare of equal or lesser value. We know how inconvenient it is to have your hearing aids serviced, maintained, and repaired without a spare. As a community provider, we are focused on individualized care as personalized as your fingerprint. We build relationships with our patients and believe that is the only way to provide the quality of service that has kept us in business for more than 20 years. We have grown and stood the test of time while embracing technological advances and innovations in our industry. We couldn't do it without all of you.
You don't know what anybody can do for you until you have a problem. And when you have a problem, is how the person works through that problem that makes them effective, makes them beneficial in your life. I get involved in a lot of activities at our church. And with the music and things that are going on, I'm going to my noisy setting quite a few times, and then depending upon who's speaking, I may be going to what they call a theater setting, which is a higher level, and so you have to negotiate. You only have, in my case, I only have like 3 different levels now. She does have some technology. We have some different volume controls. I don't use that, and I have to work with her, and rather than having to come back to the office, it's easier for me to call her wherever she's at, and we'll set us up a time, and then she will readjust my hearing aids over the telephone, which works real good. And I've used that quite frequently. But usually once you get set up, you don't typically have to change much. And a lot of times people don't want to go through the pain of the setup process, but if you don't spend the time in the setup process, you're not going to have the long-term results.
We are thankful to our faithful customers and look forward to many more years of service to our community.
I would say patients, they say it for us. You know, they refer people to us all the time, and they're not going to refer if they're not happy with you. If they don't think you're going to take care of their friend or their family member, you're going to shut right up. They're not going to say anything. And I've built my business on 75% referrals.
We offer convenient financing, layaway, and many pay options to ensure that our customers have comfortable experience getting quality equipment, reliable service you can depend on, and the product that fits both your physical and financial needs. Please visit our website, downeasthearingcare.com. Don't miss out. Schedule your appointment today.
Through the month of October, we want to invite you to our VIP by appointment only open house. Here at Down East Hearing, for the duration of the event, we're offering a look at our waterproof hearing aids and our new 3D printed custom ear molds. Things we know can improve your hearing related situation. So call for your appointment and find out what specific needs Down East Hearing can assist you with today. Call 252-378-2018 and set up your appointment, or check out Down East Hearing Care on Facebook to find out more about the things we're doing through the month of October.
Welcome back. Here we are, Dr. Browder and Linda. We're talking about clinical trials, why they're important, why we should have them, and how you can volunteer if you wanted to. Again, I just want to remind you, 407-1111 if you want to talk to us, talk to Dr. Browder. If you've been in a trial or in one currently, we'd love to get your perspective of it. That'd be great. And otherwise, we're just going to move on. So each trial is a little bit different. I guess each trial has its own set of protocols and how to do it. It's not one standard for everything.
Everything's different and tailored to what questions they're trying to answer, and the information they have gathered in earlier studies about proper dosing for this medication and things like that, or vaccines. What dose should be given.
Right.
And so we have to follow to a T that protocol. We can't deviate. So sometimes we'll have someone come in that when we've screened them, it looks like they would be a good candidate, and you get them there and you realize, you're on this medicine, and we didn't realize you were taking that, and there may be things you go through some of the process, and then there's a screen fail. That then you just can't participate, because they're very particular with that. And that's, again, very important, so that they will be able to get good data, that they can make good decisions about how efficacious the medication or treatment is, and then also for safety reasons.
So talk me through how a person is chosen. So I come to your office, and we've talked about my health, and you think I'd be a great candidate for the RSV/flu.
Right. So it's the and we call it inclusion criteria and exclusion criteria. So if you're the right age that they're looking for, with these trials, if your health is generally stable, you can have some chronic health conditions. You could have diabetes or heart disease or hypertension, and still be a candidate, as long as that hadn't been out of control and a lot of medication adjustments and things like that. So we would look to see if you meet that inclusion exclusion criteria, and those things are different for different trials. There's some trials, particularly ones with medications, that potentially other drugs could interact with this medicine, so they're going to exclude you if you're on one of those type medications.
Sure.
So it varies.
And so we've decided that I can go. Now what do I do?
So we've decided that you would be a good candidate, if you're interested, because it's totally voluntary. That's the other thing is that
Yeah.
at any point, if you decide, I don't think I want to do this, all you got to do is say, I'm done.
Okay, so even if you've done it for a couple months.
Yeah, if
you
you're
don't
just
want-
like, I don't think I want to continue
Okay.
this. It's all,
Okay.
you're a volunteer, so
Yeah,
you could stop.
yeah.
But if you're interested, your name would be passed along to the research staff. They would look over all your information
Sure.
again, and then would contact you and set up an appointment to come in. There's
And is that done over at Boyce Willis? and-
it's done at Accelicare, so it's their own
Okay.
space, but
They
it's
have
in
their own space.
It's in
And
the
within
medical park building,
Okay.
901.
Everybody calls it Boyce Willis Clinic, and it
Yeah.
really isn't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the.
a whole lot of other
It's
practices
the
in there.
Med Park building.
So, and then for the visit, you would go to their office on the second floor
Mm-hmm.
there. And there's usually a pretty lengthy, informed consent to discuss everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you would read that and then go through the process of getting a detailed history, usually an exam,
Okay.
and then start the study.
And then how often do you, so I'm in like Flynn, I've
Yeah.
passed, I'm included, and so do I go once a week? What do I do?
Again,
What does a patient do?
so like with these vaccine trials, typically you would go in, go through that process, get the vaccine, and usually it's a double-blinded trial. So like with the flu studies, you'd either get the experimental vaccine or you'd get the standard vaccine.
Okay.
And so you would get the vaccine, and then typically a month later, you may come back and get blood work drawn to measure how well your immune system responded to that and some other variables in the labs. And then there's usually a visit at the end of the study, which, for this flu study would be 6 months. For
Okay.
a COVID, we were part of the Novavax COVID vaccine trial.
Okay.
And that's still going on. It's been a 2-year trial. And so, and in between, there'll be a lot of, they're now using either an app on your phone or a device that will give you, so you can electronically log your symptoms.
Oh, okay.
So
Makes it
again,
easy.
trying to monitor safety. If you get the vaccine and your arm's sore, there'll be a way of recording that. If there's some swelling, to grade that and record that if you have fever, things like that. And then also for these vaccine trials, they want to know if you've developed symptoms that might indicate you've gotten this illness. And then we bring you back to check and do some testing for that too.
Okay. That's really interesting.
It's complex. I mean, there are a lot of different pieces to it.
But I like it. Okay, so there's also a COPD trial going on?
There's one, I don't know that we've enrolled any patients to date in that, but it's just in the process of getting off the ground.
That's what you were talking about, Dr.
Priyank Desai will be doing that
yeah.
study.
Okay. All right, so I guess we talked about RSV. So RSV is respiratory SARS virus?
Syncytial.
Okay.
Yeah, can't
All
say
right.
that very well, yeah. RSV is just easier, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, and that's a virus.
Yeah,
And of course, the flu is a virus.
right.
COVID is a virus.
Right. We have also done, some pneumonia vaccine trials.
Have you? Okay.
Prevnar 20, that's
Yeah.
just recently come out.
Right,
We were
right.
part of one of those trials.
Were you?
So, so there are,
Okay,
a lot of,
yeah.
it's nice when you see something that's actually come to market, that you've been
Yes.
part
and-
of in some
And
capacity.
it's, that's such an important one. Pneumonia is a terrible disease. And
Yeah, one that's really got me excited that will be coming up, slated to start in March. The other thing you find out with this is it's supposed to start now, and somehow it doesn't start until a few months
oh,
later.
it's like building a house. Yeah, you'll be in
You're
June,
right, yeah,
and you're
yeah,
there at
yeah.
Christmas. I gotcha.
But it's called the SOAR trial. It's a trial that will be, the Exact Science is the company who does Cologuard.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's for a multiple cancer early detection test.
Really?
So a blood test that they have an algorithm to check some different
that would be great.
substances in the blood
Yeah.
to then help determine, yes, this person may have an increased risk of cancer.
Sure.
And not just, prostate cancer. They're talking, pancreatic, lung,
That's great.
Ovarian, other,
Because
and
until
so
you
it's,
get it, you don't know. There's no way to figure it out.
And there's so many of these we have no good way to screen for. And so, there is advancement there, like Cologuard, and with some of these tests that hopefully we will be able to detect some of these cancers earlier.
That's great.
In the future. So with that trial, and they're looking to enroll a lot of people, maybe even up to like 1,000 patients at this site, and 100,000 overall. It'll
Yeah,
take a lot
yeah.
of patients. You get the blood draw, have your blood tested at increments, and then if something were to show up on that test that was suspicious, you'd get a PET scan
Wow.
to do a thorough evaluation.
Yeah.
And it's all part of the study. So there would be a great deal of evaluation of your
Yeah,
health in this
yeah.
regard, and just a very interesting
That might be kind of
idea.
That might be good for like families that have a lot of breast cancer in their family too.
Yeah, I mean that'd be
It's
good for all of
yeah.
us. you know?
Yeah. So, and that's supposed to start in March.
That's we're hoping we'll start in March.
It's going to start
So,
sometime.
But that'll start in the near future, and there are other trials like this that have been going on, looking at blood tests to detect cancers early.
Yeah. So tell the folks, for those who don't know what Cologuard is, just because we kind of talked about
Oh, they've
it.
all seen the ads probably, but
Well, you're right. They probably
Cologuard
have.
is a test that is almost as good as the actual colonoscopy at detecting a problem, but you put a specimen in a box, the box is mailed to your house, you give them the specimen, and you mail it back to them, and you're done. So no
Yeah.
prep,
Yeah.
no anesthesia,
You can talk people into doing that easier than you can talk them into doing a Cologuard.
most of the time.
A
Yeah, and it's
colonoscopy.
not everyone's appropriate for that. There's some,
right. That's
if
right.
if you're high risk, if you have a family history of colon cancer, if you've had polyps before,
Then-
you're really not a candidate for that.
Right,
But
right.
it's a
Yeah.
good advancement. That's
Yeah.
what this all.
That's
This
right.
is how
That's
you
right.
get tests like
Yes.
that. You start at
One-
phase one and then work your way through.
Work your way through. And it's
Yeah.
the same way, well, with, and all the drugs too. I just talked to somebody today about, I don't remember the name of it, it's a new sleep medicine that is similar to Belsomra, but they work on a certain part of the brain, and Belsomra's is only 43%, and this one's 93% or something. But it's just interesting to, to see, it's like you said, Belsomra opened the door for that particular
Right.
problem, and now there's another company that's going on, and they've probably all been doing the trials forever and ever.
Yeah,
but-
and how do you get that 93%
Right.
number? You
Right.
do a clinical trial and
That's
prove
right.
it,
That's right.
and
That's
have the
exactly
data,
right.
and then you can
Yeah.
make that claim.
Yeah, so the more you talk about these trials, the more excited I get. I didn't know what I was going to talk about, to tell you the truth, but it's working out pretty good. So, do you know any of the statistics for the flu and RSV? I mean, is it supposed to be pretty high, or?
You're talking about, well, that's, they're really,
Yeah.
they're trying to determine that efficacy number now. So this trial hopefully will determine that number. And flu is always a funny one because it does change from year to year because the virus mutates so much. But the preliminary data for the RSV trial that was for Glaxo from last year was, in the 90+% range in terms of efficacy. So they're still
That's,
looking at
yeah, that's
that
great.
candidate, but
Yeah.
they're getting very close, I think, to having an RSV vaccine on the market.
Wow.
Maybe not, Glaxo, but there's some other companies looking
Sure,
too.
sure.
So hopefully that
Yeah.
will be something that will be available to all of us
Yeah.
in the near future.
Wow. All right. I think that's all the questions Patrick sent me, unless I'm missing a page. Yep, that's it. All right, so I printed off some frequently asked questions. This is off of the Accelicare site,
Okay.
because you work with them, for them, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say with them, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
So, and we talked about some of these already, but can I change my mind? And the answer
you're a
is
volunteer,
yes.
so at
Yes.
any point in time, and for a variety of reasons, we'll have people change
Sure,
their minds. Some will come in and read the informed consent and say, I don't like the way that sounds, and thank you for talking to me, but I'm done.
Yeah.
Some people will say, I don't have time for that, because it does take a little bit of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's, I think, really when you think about the reimbursement you're getting for being in the study, it takes enough of your time that you've earned it. But some people, like someone recently, they had a family member that became ill. They didn't have time to keep doing this. So.
Right. Is there like an age criteria? I mean, is it like you can only do it from 18 to 96 or?
There, certainly over 18, you can make your own decision.
Right,
so
right.
there's not a permission side to it,
Right.
as it might be if you were 4 years old and
Right.
and coming in to do a study. So, but it depends on what they're looking at and the study. So, like the Pfizer flu study, we initially started with patients over 65 in that age group.
Oh, okay.
Now we're doing 18 on up.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
another arm to
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
it just really varies from study
Okay,
to study in terms of
okay.
age range.
Yeah.
And that's part of that inclusion exclusion,
Right.
Who's a good candidate for what
Right.
we're looking at.
That's right. And is it safe? We've talked about that some, but
I mean, certainly it's still something, in most instances, it's not FDA approved. Occasionally we'll have studies where they're just looking at a drug that's already on the market and they want to get some more information about it. And so there are some studies that are like that. So it's something that's already been approved. But most of these are medications or therapies that have not yet been approved. So
Right.
collecting more safety data is a big part
Right.
of what we're doing with the trial.
how do they get from the beginning stages of a vaccine to the point where you've got clinical trials with people in it?
Right, so they'll do, usually there is some initial safety testing, maybe on an animal level. Then there will be some trials with perfectly healthy people, small trials that's just to collect safety data, possibly to get some data about they'll try different doses to see what is the optimal response versus side effect.
Right.
And usually that's a very small number of patients. To date, we've not been part of
Right.
doing anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then once they have some of those details worked out, they will want to see how efficacious is it. And they'll do a phase 3 trial, enroll more patients, because you're needing to have enough patients to actually have events, to see,
Right.
does this prevent the problem better than a current therapy or better than someone who did not get therapy that just got placebo. And that's more the realm we've been within, is
I
that
got
phase
you.
3 trial.
Yeah.
So there's been some safety work done, but now you have a big group of patients and you're collecting all this data and sometimes like with the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine, after all these thousands of patients had the vaccine, they determined there was a slight increase in clotting and maybe
Right.
this isn't the best candidate to have out there.
Okay, well, you know what, that's good. We like safety, don't we? All right, it's time for our next break. So we will talk to Dr. Browder on more clinical trial information once we have a word from our sponsors. So don't go away, hang on with us.
When faced with special care needs for elderly or disabled loved ones, families want compassionate, comforting care. That's Tender Touch Home Care Services' goal, providing the level of care we would expect for our own. With over 10 years of home care excellence, Tender Touch provides an array of services that keeps your loved one at home. From personal care, light housekeeping, errands, and meal preparation, to our private duty care program, which combines all of our home care offerings in one package.
Tender Touch Home Care Services, where your needs are our concern.
Hi, I'm Richard Goss, pharmacist and owner of Almonds Drug Store here in Rocky Mount. Here today with my wife and 2 daughters. For over 75 years, Almonds Drug Store has been the pharmacy of choice for residents of Edgecombe and Nash County. Our family is proud to call Rocky Mount home, and we are excited about the new services and products we are adding daily at both of our Almonds Drug Store's locations and also at our medical supply store.
Come in and see us at Almonds Medical Supply. We're an extension of Almonds Drug Stores, your local hometown pharmacy. We're here to service all your needs, from wheelchairs to walkers to orthopedic supports to compression hose to hard-to-find wound care supplies. and you'll always get that hometown customer service.
We want our patients to pay the best prices, get the best service available, and have a better pharmacy experience than they will get anywhere else. Our staff is committed to going above and beyond to meet our patients' needs. Whether it is working with your provider to get you the best medication at the best price, contacting your provider to get you refills or a prior authorization, or taking the time to review each of your medications with you personally, or perhaps even helping you find an old-time remedy or other hard-to-find items, your Almonds Drug Store staff will work hard to meet your pharmacy needs. At Almonds, we will deliver your prescriptions for free. Both of our stores have drive-through windows, we guarantee short wait times, and our pharmacists will come out to greet you personally and answer any questions you have. If you want to be met with a smiling face, or even want someone to greet you by name when you walk through the doors, we are the pharmacy for you.
Call Almonds Drugs today.
443-3138 or 446-0014.
All right, we're back. This is Dr. Browder and Linda, and we're talking about clinical trials. If you want to give us a buzz, the number is 407-1111. There's Dr. Browder's information on the bottom of the screen with his number. If you're interested in clinical trials or think you'd like to be a participant, you call that number and they'll take care of you from that perspective. So we're going to, go on. I printed off some frequently asked questions from Celicare, who Dr. Browder works with, and I think we've already kind of taken care of this because anyone participate in a clinical trial. We've talked about that and what the inclusion and exclusion. So who regulates a clinical trial? Do you regulate it?
No. I'm more collecting the data for these people. But there will be, the company puts some of this together, but then they're also regulated by a sponsor. So an organization that's not affiliated with them. So they have no, monetary interest in what happens. And so there would be, a sponsor that reviews all the data. If there are any adverse events, and sometimes that can be something as serious as a hospitalization or as minor as a cold. We collect every change in your health really during this trial, and all the information is evaluated by the sponsor or clinical research organization that helps oversee this.
Okay. So I like this. We're going to talk about, we've talked about the benefits of taking part of a clinical trial, but and this again is from the Celicare website, but the possible benefits for volunteers include playing an active role in your health care. I think that's so vital for people. They've got to grab hold of everything. I don't think they need to listen to everything Dr. Google says, but I think they need to be well informed, and this is a great way to do that.
Yeah.
And then you've got access to research treatments, and if your family member has got something going on that about a trial about, it would be great to be part of that so you could help the family member. And then you have regular monitoring at trial visits, results of any investigation, x-rays, MRIs, blood tests, and that's all forwarded to your physician. Is that correct? That's what this says.
Yeah. There are some trials that all of that information is blinded, so we're not to be aware of.
I gotcha.
And then there are others that it's more open.
Okay.
and that can easily be shared.
Right.
Like the thyroid trial that we're part of now, that all that lab data, we see, each time you come in, and you're getting evaluated just about every month.
Right.
In that, so we're talking about your hemoglobin A1C and your thyroid labs and your liver studies, and you're getting that evaluation practically every month.
Yep. Yeah.
And we do go over that when I see the patients back for that.
And thyroid, that's a disease that, boy, if you're untreated, it can really make you feel bad.
Right, or not, fully treated, or in some instances properly treated.
Yes. I've just recently had a patient that was newly diagnosed with thyroid disease, and I put her on some Synthroid, and she's feels back to herself again.
Yeah.
It's so great so it's just wonderful. You take one little pill and
we had a child that in high school developed hypothyroidism, and they're teenagers. You're like, she's just tired. She's got a lot going on. And
Right.
and then finally we noticed, it's like, her neck looks a little a little full, and sure enough, her TSH was 20 or something. And
oh, wow.
She's still doing all this stuff, and carrying on like
only
a teenager.
because she was a teenager,
But yeah, it can.
That's wild.
Really change your life.
Yeah, it can. All right, let's see what else. What other questions can we ask and get answered here? Will I get paid? Oh, that's a good one. Everybody wants to know if they can get paid.
So the reimbursement usually is very fair in these trials. There have been some trials where you may be coming in a lot that could pay $2,500, $3,000 for the entire year-long trial. More typically would be $300-400 to $1,000, something like that, over the duration of the trial.
Well, that's pretty decent.
Sometimes less if you have to come in just for one. We've had some trials you come in for one visit and that's it.
Yeah.
It might be $50.
Yeah.
So it can vary, but it's not nothing.
It's not nothing. Yeah. And
it's not $10 for a survey on the internet.
Right. All right. Well, this is a good one. What is a placebo?
That's the sugar pill. So that's the, if we're looking at, does this treatment have a positive effect, we're looking often at patients that are getting therapy or getting nothing. And so the nothing is the placebo. And a lot of these trials, say the Novavax COVID vaccine trial, 2 people got the active vaccine, 1 person got the placebo. Again, to show, is this more efficacious than than not getting it? So
and I think there's placebos in every trial. All right, so this is a good one for people who are interested in this. Will my taking part in a clinical trial be kept confidential?
Yes, I mean, it's just like any other health information, held to the same HIPAA type standards.
Sure.
Honestly, most of the people in the trial don't really know your name. You're given a number.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately with this, you are just a number. But yeah, everything is kept confidential.
Okay, so people don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about, that I've got diabetes and I haven't told my family.
Right, or that any of this information is going to get out anywhere other than these tightly regulated organizations that are looking at it.
Right.
And they're looking at it not with your name, but with as a number that's in the trial.
Right. Number 455. So, what's the typical length of a trial? Again, I guess it depends upon.
I'd say most are in the 6-month to a year time frame, but there's some, the COVID vaccine trial was set up as a 2-year trial. The SOAR trial for the multiple cancer detection test is set up to be a 5-year trial, so it really can vary. But all that's disclosed early on, early on in the trial. Before you get signed up, exactly how many visits you'll have and that type of information.
Yeah, that SOAR trial is really, I'm
it's
excited.
Exciting.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep up with you and find out what's going on with that. So, you know, if I call you every once in a while and you see my name, oh, she just wants to know about that trial. She doesn't really care about anything I've got to do. So how many docs over there are participating?
I would say that are actively involved in a study right now, maybe 6.
Okay.
But, you know, some have done it, and then they get busy with something else, and they're not looking to be involved.
Right.
So,
Sure.
but there have been, you know, probably 15 of the docs at some point that have done some of this.
That's great. I think it's awesome because you're thinking about something other than yourself.
It is nice. You know, you're doing this. You're in practice for a lot of years, and it's nice to do something a little different.
Yeah, it is.
You love your patients, you love your practice,
Yeah.
but it's good to...
Yeah, it's good to have a little side hustle going on too, yeah. So, I'm kind of running out of questions here. Are there any other, we did talk about the Pfizer flu, the Bavarian, did we talk about the Pfizer flu?
Oh yeah, it's come up in conversation.
Okay.
So, and all those are still enrolling. They likely through the first half of December will still be enrolling in those trials. So there's still an opportunity with those. But then there will be many other things that we're looking at, some potentially participating in some obesity trials. There's always new opportunities.
Yeah, obesity, that's something. I wish there was a good pill for that, but you know, obesity is up here.
Fen-Phen, remember that?
Yes,
and
yes,
then, you know,
yes,
ended up
that's
with
right. They still have the phentermine part of the fen, but the other fen was,
So there's always this constant evaluation looking for
Yeah.
possible safety
That's
concerns.
right,
and
that's right. Yeah, I forgot
that came
about
up with that one.
Yeah, it sure did.
Sure worked in terms of people losing weight.
I know, but they dropped over too, so that's not so good. So if people want to become part of a trial, they can either talk to you if they're your patient in your office, or just call this number, or...
Yeah, I would say if they're interested in, you know, one of the vaccine trials that's going on now, they could call the number. And if they feel that they would be interested in, you know, future research, they could call. We have a internal database for people that have done research or expressed interest, and they can gather some information so they know your basic background, health background.
Right.
And if something looks appropriate, then can contact you.
Okay.
And then you can decide if it's something you feel like doing or not.
And so, like the COPD trial, I know we talked about inclusions and exclusions, but do they want you to have COPD, or do they?
Yes, with that trial, they want you to have COPD, and sometimes there a certain level of severity that you might have to meet to qualify for what they're looking for. So there, again, some specific inclusion criteria.
Okay.
So just ask. You know, if you don't know and you're interested, put your name out there and ask. And
I need to put down that number so I can give it to my patients. What's that? A Celicare number? It was on. Put that other number up, Lee.
I don't call it that often. I just run back and forth.
You just run there.
I'm sorry, I don't have it memorized.
He's like, what? Well, that's like, if you ask me my daughter's cell phone number, I don't know. I've got a program there. It's terrible. I used to know a lot of phone numbers. I don't know any anymore.
Yeah, you used to have no directions and how to get places.
No, you don't have to know any of that. Well, that's good for me. I'm really directionally challenged. So, you know.
Remember the Rand McNally Atlas and all those things from back in the day?
Yes, and the triptychs. Did you ever use a triptych from the AAA? If you wanted to go somewhere? Oh, yeah, you could go to the AAA office, and it was a triptych, and it was like maps, and it was in a binder about half this size, and you'd go, okay, well, here we are in Plano, Texas, and we're going down I-40, and then we're going to go into Oklahoma, and I did plenty of those, too, in my day.
Sometimes you'd find some interesting things, you know, ended up in the wrong place, right?
Yeah. Sometimes we were in Texas one time. I remember the triptych said, the sun is riz, the sun is set, and you ain't out of Texas yet. So, All right, it's time for us to say goodbye. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you
coming.
for
I
having
really
me.
appreciate it. It's really been exciting. I'd like for you to come back maybe in a year or so, and we'll talk about
Yeah,
these.
or if we have, or
if you
have some
got-
other big things coming up, maybe come back and talk about
That
it.
would be great. That would be great.
Thank
All
you.
right, y'all have a great evening, and we'll see you next week with more of Here's to Your Good Health. Good night.
Good night.